What's up, guys? Here with you with episode 57. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
I am aghast. I am so excited about what I just saw and what a weekend of football, what a week of football it's been. That the surprise of it being episode 57 does not scare me. It just makes me want to talk. But first, how are you? How are you doing? You're doing well?
I'm doing well. And
Okay.
this was a pretty big weekend in terms of football. You mentioned and titles. And we got to start with the boldest league. And by Pep, I just want to say this as start.
Mm-hmm.
Pep Guardiola went bold and said that the Premier League is harder than the Champions League. So it makes total sense that he went bold against Aston Villa to win 3-2 with a massive comeback that for a couple of seconds Liverpool fans were thinking that Coutinho was doing the impossible.
I just got to say that only a person who's won the last 4 out of 5 Premier League titles can say that the Premier League is a harder tournament to win than anything else out there. We both know that that's probably not true, but Pep Guardiola, the emotion that he showed when that final whistle went, I mean, you could obviously tell that he 100% believes that, and that this has been one hell of a trying campaign for Manchester City. So first and foremost, you got to give it to them. And I got to tell you, man, Alexander Zinchenko, when he came on, he was one of the differences. Obviously, Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne late in the game. I mean, they needed something, but man, this thing was getting set up for Liverpool. Winning away. You had Philippe Coutinho scoring the goal that puts them ahead. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful details. But then all it took was 5 minutes for everything to turn right back around. But what'd you think? What'd you think altogether? I mean, we knew, yeah.
First point that you mentioned there, the substitution of Zinchenko, the first one that he did was brilliant, just brilliant. And I gotta say this, what a way to end his time at Man City for Gundogan with a massive brace, okay? Coming off the bench, Gundogan, you are officially a Man City legend, my guy, okay? The smile on his face when he was leaving, it was just beautiful. And for me, this guy is underrated, okay? Massively underrated. Just like Fernandinho too, which another shout. But Rodri got that goal too, which Rodri's been getting some of these goals outside the box, okay? It's good to see him getting that confidence up. And De Bruyne. That De Bruyne assist. It's you just get used to it. It's magical. And that's why, okay, a lot of people may hate on this, okay? Son and Salah, the joint top goal scorers of the Premier League, still didn't win the Premier League player this season. It was De Bruyne. And it was because of passes like we saw, okay, that he won that trophy, man. De Bruyne was just magical that game too. So
Well, here's how ridiculous the last half of the season was for KDB. He did not register an assist up until December 29th. Okay?
Whoa.
He had a handful of goals. But he went through half the season without registering an assist, which we all look at and we say, that's Kevin De Bruyne in a nutshell, right? He is the creator. And there he is. He just goes on a tear this last half of the season, and yeah, he was flawless that second half. And it's not even the second half. It was like the 60th minute, right? The 55th minute or whatever. Whenever that 5-minute period started, and then they just took control. And it was absolutely wonderful to see. And you're right. Has Ilkay Gundogan, has he decided where he's going next? Do we know?
I think there's no decision still, but look, Roma, just saying, Mourinho got his hands.
That's a very, very good move. And we'll talk about Roma later. But I was very surprised, and maybe you have a little more details, because I was coming back, getting situated, getting sat down. I didn't get to really look this up, but tell me, why was Emiliano Martinez not on the field for Aston Villa? Because it showed. Robin Olsen did not play his hand well in all 3 of those goals in that span of time. And Emiliano Martinez was not on the field. From what I know, he was not injured. And I don't know. Do you know anything?
I think the justification is for the match that he's gonna have for Argentina next week. So I'm not really sure, but for me,
Okay.
that is a massive point. Okay, to shout out because Emilian Martinez could have changed. Okay, the title
Absolutely.
decision in the Premier League. I agree. That is something that has to be shout out. Great shout out. Like,
Well, I mean, it just was absolutely unreal to me that I think it was Raheem Sterling lifted cross, right? Robin Olsen, I don't know. I mean, maybe if he's 6'7", he gets in the way of that. But if he anticipates it sooner, there's a good chance he can at least get a fingertip on it. And then that Rodrigo, I get it, he was screened, but that was expertly passed into the back of the net. And you would think that if Olsen was playing games, if his anticipation was on point, that he might have been able to put that away. But none of this changes the fact that Liverpool heartbreak all around. Not only does Liverpool lose, right, the title, okay, which was, let's be honest, it was expected, although there was a dramatic moment for a little while.
Yeah.
But on top of that, Mo Salah has to share the golden boot with Son, who becomes the first Asian footballer to win the Premier League Golden Boot. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Big up on him. Big up on him.
Seriously.
Like Son,
Love it.
Ji-sung Park, like Asian players are starting to become Premier League heritage, okay? So it's wonderful to see, man. Wonderful to see. Hall of Fame. Son is in the Hall of Fame. And what I got to say about Son, too, just shouting him out, because that was a bold win against Norwich. That no hope to Arsenal fans, okay? That they had a big win, too, against Everton. Big up on them. But Tottenham, no chance. But I want to shout out something with Son is, you don't see news about Son going anywhere, okay? Son is a workaholic. He does what he's got to do, and that's why he's going to be a Tottenham legend, okay? Even though if he doesn't get a trophy, maybe, that I believe with Conte can happen, you don't see the speculation. You don't see the problems being done by Son, okay? He's such a good role model for Tottenham, okay? So big shout out to Son, okay? Big shout out. If there was a professionalism award in the Premier League, Son might win it. Son might win it. So yeah.
Why isn't there one? I mean, this was a man that actually went back and did his civil service, right, or his military service too. I mean, this is a guy that for country and for club is just top of the heap. And let's be honest, we forgot to mention that 23 goals is what he landed on, and not one of those were penalties. Not one. Not one was a penalty. So yeah, I was going to ask you. I mean, it's very clear that Tottenham are going to go out and they're going to make Rodrigo Bentancur and they're going to make Dejan Kulusevski, who both were phenomenal. It's not hard to be phenomenal versus Norwich City right now, but they were both phenomenal versus Norwich City. It's pretty clear that if Antonio Conte, unless something crazy happens where he leaves, I don't really see him leaving. I'm getting close to getting on your bandwagon in terms of really thinking that they might have some of those peripheral pieces that are needed to support Harry Kane, support Son, support Cuti Romero, keep Lloris a little longer, and boom, you absolutely right. I mean, Tottenham has a way forward to at least an FA Cup at some point, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what next season brings for the Tottenham Hotspur.
I'll say Tottenham will be a hard team to beat in the Champions League for starters, okay? With Conte leading the way, one-on-one in a game, Liverpool even had trouble. Even had trouble in Anfield against Conte. So, but I just wanted to say this. We're going to talk transfers too, but Harry Kane, man. Harry Kane, okay, I don't know if he's going to stay at Tottenham next season. But there's going to be a reason why I'm saying all this. But leading up with what you said with the role players, Kulusevski, he got it right. Bentancur, he got it right. Reguilon and Emerson Royal look different players. Then you got Son and Kulusevski, okay? For me, these two players are going to be, next season. They're going to be key for Conte's system. And yeah, I'm a big believer, as you said. And in the past, I was Arteta out because I was Conte in. And I remember saying that to you. If Arsenal sack Arteta right now and get Conte, they might be right now in the Champions League, okay, instead of Tottenham. Okay, they might. They might. Yeah. But Arteta's, because they've made the decision of renewing with Arteta, they just need to keep on going with him and trust the striker with him and see what it leads up to. But it needs to be said, Conte is a winner, okay? And that's why he puts the pressure on the top and on the players too. Because, look, he's got high expectations with himself. And he can't stand 4 losses in a row, which was the problem, right, at the time.
It was.
And then, then they got the win against City. So it's mind games. It's Antonio Conte, man. Top 5 manager in the world of football right now. Antonio Conte. So that's why a United or an Arsenal, they should have got him if they could, okay? In my opinion.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, at least United. United had every chance to do this in the past. But yeah, that final, let's be honest, Everton is luckier. I mean, I think a lot of their performance against Arsenal, Arteta and Arsenal, was because they had already secured Premier League status midweek. But man, that was not how you wanted to end the season. Arsenal just kind of steamrolled them. But no, I really do. It's just, you remember how sour we were on the Gunners? How sour we were about pretty much everything coming together for them. And they do have, while they did bottle it, there's no getting away from that. They bottled a Champions League, Champions League spot. But ultimately, this is the progress that they wanted to see. This is a playing style. You know, there's a means to an end here, and they're a couple pieces away. But it looks like their first parry in the transfer market got swatted away with that. I think it was 70 million euro bid for Victor Osimhen. So
they're not gonna get that. No.
They're not going to get that. But if you're not going to get Osimhen for that much, I mean, who are you going to get? And that's a conversation probably for a later date. But let's just bop on over for 1 second to the relegation battle, because Everton was obviously not lumped into the final match day, right? They had a midweek game, and my goodness, the scenes in that one, borderline disrespectful and also amazing, right? Emotional, and I don't know of another word to put it. Dangerous, disrespectful. I mean, come on, there were fans on the field before the game with 6 minutes or 5 minutes of injury time, before the game was even done. And, you know, it was being celebrated as if they had won the damn thing. Now, I get it. I get what's going on. When all is said and done, they showed the grit, they showed the determination that was needed to get that midweek so that they didn't have to face Arsenal on the final match day with anything on the line for them except, I don't know, some self-respect. But I just have to say, watching Frank Lampard, watching Everton and how they've responded under him, I'm just going to flat out say it. I do not think Frank Lampard is the guy to take Everton back to any sort of a respectful position in the Premier League.
You don't reckon he's going to stay long term?
I don't think he should. I think if there's actual ambition there, if there's ambition to get back above top of the half of the table, even in that top 6, top 7 again, European positions, I'm just not sure Frank Lampard is going to be the guy that's going to get you there.
I get you. And I think once Ancelotti left Everton, we really realized how good of a manager he was doing. Like he is, and doing such a good job at the time with Everton. Like picking players like James Rodriguez to come in, like really putting up the potential of these players. But Lampard, Breton, I gotta say too, like he's been doing good with the difficult task that he had with a group of players that they didn't have a lot of hope when he got started, and they managed to stay. And Richarlison, I just wanted to say, I love the fact that Richarlison ain't scared of saying what he thinks, even to a legend like Jamie Carragher, because in his beliefs, he shouldn't say that, okay, against Richarlison. Você é brabo, Richarlison, okay? That's what he's got to do. Look, it's the grit you mentioned, and I believe Everton, this is going to be a wake-up call for them. Okay, I don't believe
Okay.
they're going to be again in a relegation battle, and they're gonna have to change things up. Have to.
Well, what I
is
don't
the word.
what I don't understand is they, according to what Burnley
Mm-hmm.
and Leeds are saying, right? Because they actually wrote a letter to the Premier League, basically saying, I mean, Everton had to have violated financial fair play rules, right? I mean, they've lost how much money in the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, and they've got this new stadium coming online,
True.
and they've got this Usmanov guy that's out there and sanctioned, and there was supposed to be this big hole in the balance sheet and craziness like that.
Well,
I,
no.
I honestly believe.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I honestly believe that it's not entirely positive to me that they won't necessarily be sucked into, say, a not a relegation battle per se, but maybe at least a scare. Because I don't see the money unless they sell people off. Where are you going out and where are you buying these players? With what money?
True.
Right?
Richarlison money though. Like if he leaves.
Well, yeah.
But
he's a big reason why they stayed up in the first place. So it's like, yeah, you gotta be smart with that. But that relegation battle, while the dramatics were taken out of it for Everton, there was something sour about seeing these fans rush onto the field and actually touch Patrick Vieira, right? Actually touch. That stuff kind of really
That wasn't cool. Patrick Vieira.
Calming.
Yeah, reacted the way that he should have, man. If you're touching me like that,
kicked out, dude.
He showed he's a bold man, Patrick Vieira, which we all know the history with Roy Keane, and he showed why you don't mess with him. Okay, and like as I said, such a good manager. Like he managed to surprise Man United today and get a win. Okay, that's surprise because Man United losing this season to Crystal Palace at home isn't a surprise, okay? Especially with Patrick Vieira.
No.
Amazing job, okay? And for me too, I know this is Wonderkids, but just a quick mention with Crystal Palace, Southampton kid too, Armand Broja. They're going to play preseason, okay, with Tuchel next season. So it's good to see getting a chance. Conor Gallagher, Armand Broja, okay, they can show their talent and they can show that they are worth staying at Chelsea, okay? I just wanted to shout that out. And Crystal Palace, Zaha goal. Zaha goal against United, man. When is he going to leave Crystal Palace, Wilfried Zaha, okay? Underrated legend for Crystal Palace and one of the best players, no doubt, outside of the top 6. No doubt.
Yeah, well, I gotta tell you, whether or not Wilf leaves Crystal Palace, you better be sure as hell he's gonna talk about it, right? It's all about the drama for him when it comes down to this. But no, no. But I'll tell you what, I'm so happy that there was so much other action to watch across the Premier League, so that I didn't have to spend any time on that last Manchester United dud. I mean, that was just an absolute dud. And what a way to send off a guy like Edinson Cavani, right? With a scoreless piece of crap match. But I was happy to see Hannibal Mejbri on the field. I guess that's like the only silver lining. Shola Shoretire got some time. But hey, we're in the relegation battle right now, okay? Everton, boom. We're talking about Frank Lampard. We're talking about how good he did and how he felt the pulse of Everton and he really got them to play for the badge again.
Oh, good.
Let's talk about somebody that actually did that, okay? Let's talk about Jesse Marsch and Leeds United, because they were dead in the water. I mean, they were dead in the water.
Love it.
And they were coming off of if Marcelo Bielsa can't do it, then nobody can do it. And no, I'm not going to put everything in the corner of Jesse Marsch being some amazing coach, but as a manager to the T, he absolutely got Leeds to play for the badge again. And they stuck it out. I mean, they had end of February he came in, okay? End of February he came in. And he had, I believe it was at least four, end of the game, either match winners or late game tires that got them either a point or 3 points. And those points meant everything when it all came down to it. It was Luke Ayling. It was Joe Gelhardt one time. I forget, it was another defender the other day. Yeah, Rafinha relatively recently. Jack Harrison, they were already ahead. No, that was the winner. You're right. That was the winner.
Yes.
So the fact that before him, it was 5 wins, 13 losses, 8 draws. Since he took over in February, it was 4 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws. Their losses were to Chelsea, City, Villa, Leicester, and Arsenal. I mean, teams in the relegation battles you're expected to lose, but he got 4 injury time equalizers or game winners for them to actually get this done. I'm just excited because this isn't Leeds United surviving with a Burnley budget, okay?
True.
This is Leeds United surviving with financial backing, and it's an American manager that is not cast aside, and he's going to get every shot to either be a positive force or a negative force next year in the Premier League. And, first things first, he's going to bring in Brendan Aronson.
So. That Rafinha money is going to be hitting different. Just saying as a start, because if Leeds had gone down, Rafinha would cost 25 million. But because Leeds stay in the Premier League, it's a much different conversation with Barcelona. Okay, so we can expect 40 to 50 maybe. Rafinha leaving Leeds to Barcelona, which is a total difference. Okay, total difference. It's Brendan Aronson money, like you said. He's going to cost 20 to 30, no? If he goes to Leeds?
Yeah,
which,
easily. 25, dead in the middle. Yeah. Which
he's going to have an instant impact, which you said he's a workaholic in midfield, putting the pressure, great dribbling. So, and he's worked in the past with Jesse Marsch. Am I correct?
He's worked in the past with Jesse Marsch at Red Bull Salzburg.
Sheesh. So
yeah, I mean, it didn't last too long, but they won a title together. They won a cup together. So
lovely. That's lovely. And another point that I wanted to complete with you. You said they lost those matches, which is totally understandable. Big boy teams, and he didn't have Calvin Phillips at the start of the season. Yeah. He didn't have him. He was injured. Okay, injured when Jesse Marsch started at Leeds. So to see the magic happen, man, it's beautiful. And the striker, too. I fully expect Leeds next season to finally have a striker, not to be Daniel James. Daniel James doing that role, okay? Or Patrick Bamford. Finally, he's not injured, and he plays with Jesse Marsch, which, if he's in form, that would be excellent. But you said Burnley getting relegated. I just want to shout out to Cornet, okay? Winger, former Leon Baller, man. What a player. It's a pity for me to see him going to the championship. And I don't know, because he's a proud Burnley player, isn't he? So he likes the badge, but if someone can go get him, okay? Newcastle, definitely. Newcastle get a player like him. That would make total sense. Yeah. So
The other player from Burnley, though, he didn't have the greatest season. But in past seasons, he's still young. Dwight McNeil is another one somebody should be looking at. Yes. And no, his last season, not great, but you put him in a system, he's all over the place. And he's generally up there in stat categories for U23 players every year, even in a middling year. But yeah, let's be honest. The past few seasons, it's felt like Burnley was doing just enough to get by. They were always punching above their weight. And while it's sad to see them go, it's not exactly surprising per se, but I am very happy that I think I said it maybe 2 weeks ago that it felt like all signs were pointing to Leeds United, because Burnley was going to get it done at the Turf Moor and Leeds United was going to have to actually pip something away. And they did at Griffin Park of all places. So I mean it's absolutely great to see. Obviously, I'm biased when it comes to seeing this. I don't know why we're spending this much time on a relegation fight, but man, the Premier League was just so damn fun this year. It really was. It was a lot of fun.
Facts. Yeah. And Kevin De Bruyne, okay, I don't know if we mentioned, but needs to be mentioned. Kevin De Bruyne is the player of the season, okay? And Phil Foden won the Young Player of the Season award, which by many people, it should have been Saga or Declan Rice. But Phil Foden is a generational talent, and he gets a back-to-back Premier League Young Player of the Season award, okay? Baller, and it's deserved because, the vibes, the technical ability, absolutely love it. But
I mean, he's a cog in a wheel for sure.
I warned you.
Yeah, I know you absolutely did. It was a very realistic choice. But Phil Foden, he had 4 of his 14 goal involvements versus Brighton. And then he had 7 of his 14 goal involvements versus
I
all relegated or all those that were in a relegation fight like Everton. Okay, so that leaves what? A goal versus Liverpool. I think he had a goal versus maybe Newcastle, and he had a goal versus Brentford somewhere in there.
I get you
I
though.
know he played more of a role. He absolutely played more of a role than just the statistics
That's
suggest.
why. Yeah.
But man, Bukayo Saka like had Arsenal on his back a lot of the season. Declan Rice,
Mm-hmm.
kept West Ham in a European place battle.
True.
Even through injuries, even through they had their own fair share of
True.
injuries. So I
But
just feel like with Phil Foden winning it last year, it felt like the battle was close enough that it really should have been Saka, Mount, Trent, or
I don't
who am I?
know.
Or
Well,
Rice or Declan.
statistically, yes, Mount had a better season than Foden,
Yeah.
but I get you though. I get you. I get where you're coming from. So tell us down below, people, your thoughts about the Premier League awards of this season. Okay, what should have happened, and anything bold we haven't mentioned in the
Yeah.
Premier League. And something bold I gotta say too, Haaland.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that Man City money is kicking in. Okay, because Erling Haaland reportedly gifted 33 Rolexes, okay, to his former Dortmund teammates, and
Yeah.
I think 20 Omega watches, in which in total he spent £500,000, okay, in watches, okay, just a goodbye to Dortmund, okay, so that's a good way to say goodbye in the Bundesliga, just rewarding.
Someone had a good point in the Twitter comment section. It was how the heck did he source 33 of those watches, right? How the heck did he do that? Because you got to know somebody, and they're pretty hard to come by. But I'm sure a lot of money, that helps. And
True.
it's funny.
True.
We're talking about a lot of money around Haaland, but we're gonna get somewhere else in a little bit.
True, and
But
I said that Erling Haaland left, but he wasn't the only person leaving. Okay, Dortmund, in which Marco Reus has been sacked by Dortmund. Okay, and this is a decision of a manager that got second place, 8 points, okay, from Bayern Munich, but it just shows the level right now and the focus, okay, the expectations of the Dortmund manager right now are win the Bundesliga, man. Win the Bundesliga, and if you don't, you're out. You are out.
Yeah,
so I like that.
But that's how you get 10 managers in 10 years or something. I mean, Marco Rosa should absolutely have deserved another year, and I think it's a terrible mistake that they did that.
I like the appointment, though. I like Edin Terzic, though, Breton. I like him,
He's
though.
been there. He's been there. He's done that. I mean, come on. Marco Rosa absolutely did. He worked with what, like 75% of a roster most of the year?
True.
He's still wound up with 8. It's not his fault when it comes down to it. He absolutely deserved another year and another go at it, and the ability to actually spend in the market. And even Karim Adeyemi was surprised. I mean, you would have to imagine Marco Rosa had a bunch of conversations with Karim Adeyemi as they courted him, as they brought him in. And here he is showing up first day, preseason, and Marco Rosa is not going to be there. He was surprised.
I get you, though. I think the Europa League, though, was a huge difference maker. And as you said in the past, the Ibrox, yes, it does hit different. But Edin Terzic, if we compare the Edin Terzic season with Marco Reus, he won the DFB Pokal. Okay, he still won a trophy with Dortmund, and I don't know the importance, and I don't know the conversation that it was, but I honestly think it was Bundesliga or bust. And for Edin Terzic, I think it's the same thing, okay, with the players that are coming in, Adeyemi, Scotzelperk, Sule, reportedly going for a lot of top players. So the expectations for him is the exact same. Win the Bundesliga or you're out too. So high standards.
It is definitely high standards. I have to hold you to higher standards because I'm pretty sure you just called Nico Schlotterbeck Scuttlebutt, which is pretty awesome.
It's such a hard name for me. Scuttelberg,
Schlotterbeck, I think, is what it is. But it's great you bring him up because he was Freiburg's rock versus RB Leipzig in the DFB Pokal, and I don't think people realize how good of a get he is for Dortmund next season. I really don't think if they can keep him healthy, he will be up there with defender best defender in the Bundesliga next season, and that's a big if they can keep him healthy. But he has been Freiburg's rock all season, and I don't think I even processed it because all the talk was around Haaland this, Haaland that, Adeyemi coming in. But then getting Nico Schlotterbeck is a massive, massive deal. And them keeping Jude for another season is a massive deal. So while I'm going to basically matter-of-factly say right now, Borussia Dortmund is not going to win the Bundesliga next season, I do feel like I do feel like they have the DNA to win it in the next 2 or 3.
But who wins
But I don't think they're winning it next season.
Who wins it next season?
You saw the news. Lewandowski's probably staying.
What? No.
Lewandowski's probably staying.
No. So
I know it's a difference of 8 million or whatever the deal is, but they're gonna play hardball with him. We'll see.
He won't stay because I just want to say why I'm so no because I think his head, Lewandowski's head, is out of Bayern. I think it's completely out. But if it I just think it's hard for Bayern Munich to find such a replacement and not quick notice, but get a negotiation with the stamp said, okay, you go with it. Yep. So, but no, I think Lewandowski, I think it's 40 million is what Barca, that's the discrepancy, the 8 million, right? Yeah. So I think that happens. I think 40 million Barca, man, I think they're just hardballing it. 40 million Lewandowski.
Maybe they can get a former... Right. Well, maybe they can get a former German political leader like Angela Merkel to reach out to Lewandowski to stay. Please stay.
Yeah. But Barca's like they're gonna get money with Umtiti going. They got money with Coutinho going. They got to get money with Sergino Dest maybe going. So Dembele's not gonna stay. So that contract, Traoré contract going. So I see a ton of money gonna come into with Barca, and I could see. Let's see. I think they'll be fine to get Lewandowski, but it's just it's not just Lewandowski. It has to be new fullbacks. Like the first thing for me for Barca is change the fullbacks, because if you have the same fullbacks as you had last season, you're not gonna win anything. So, but yeah, that's a whole different Barca talk. I go bold with that. But we were mentioning Bundesliga. RB Leipzig winning the DFB Pokal. First major trophy in the history of RB Leipzig. So big up on that. And Ralf Rangnick had a huge say in the development and for that to happen. So big up to RB Leipzig. And the question in everyone's mind that follows the Bundesliga is Christopher Nkunku going to stay in the Bundesliga? Because Nkunku, if Nkunku this season was nominated the best player in the Bundesliga. He had 4 Player of the Month awards in the Bundesliga, and he had 55 goal involvements, okay? 55. So Nkunku is the difference. And if RB Leipzig want to win the Bundesliga next season, which there's a chance, it's with Nkunku there. So I think that's the difference, but I don't think he'll stay. Just saying, people.
And I think people are very quick. Yeah, well, people are very quick to look at RB Leipzig and say, I don't like them, right? They bought their way to the top. And then at the same breath, they'll applaud the Super League clubs, or they'll go to PSG and applaud this Kylian Mbappé craziness that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But we got to remember, they started in the 5th division. True. Okay, it was bought as a toy, no doubt about it. But they still had to work their way to the top, and it's taken them 13 years to win a trophy. Okay, a top tier trophy, right? 13 years. All right. So they went from the 5th division all the way up, and they spent within their controls, right? They spent within what was allowed of them to spend. Exactly. And if I think it's Mateschitz is his name. Whoever owns Red Bull, right? This guy could go out there and he could spend massive bucks if he wanted to, and he has, but never to the point of PSG, never to the point of whatever, right? I mean, the best money he ever got was 66 million for Naby Keita from Liverpool.
And Werner was big money too.
Werner, 53 million for Werner. So I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, this is a club that has incrementally, and I know they took a step back this year, but they won a trophy, right? They still got Champions League ball. If you wanted a way to keep Christo Nkunku there, right? those are the two things, right? You needed
Mm-hmm.
to give him. You needed to
Champions
give
League.
him a trophy, and you needed to give him Champions League football. I
Mm-hmm.
think they've done everything they absolutely can to get him to sign on the dotted line of a renewal, so that if he does this again the next 2 seasons, they can maybe sell him off for 70. Because if Naby Keita was 60 million and Timo Werner was 53,
Mm-hmm.
with lesser numbers all across the board,
Oh yeah.
right? Then this guy probably could go for 70 in this market.
Could
80
100,
in
man.
this market.
Could go
I mean, he
100.
could go for 100. I don't even, with this crazy market, what's
Yeah.
going on? Absolutely. But hey, I am not one of those guys that says Red Bull Leipzig is a money club. They bought their way to the top. I think if you want to look at a club that long term is going to break the hegemony of Bayern Munich,
Yeah.
I believe RB Leipzig is very close to getting that architecture right to do it. And I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. And if it's Dortmund in there too, wonderful. If it's Leverkusen in there too, with their ability to get really great young stars, wonderful. But I do believe that Leipzig has a sustainable chance to take over
And
as one of the best in the league.
And even if Red Bull was a monopoly in football, I would guarantee that Erling Haaland and Karim Adeyemi would have gone to RB Leipzig instead of Dortmund. They would have gone instead, because they leave Red Bull Salzburg and they go to Dortmund. So if Leipzig was really making like a huge like business scheme and all that, they would go from Salzburg to Leipzig. So it's great business. Exactly. So it's great business. And I want to shout out to Nkunku, okay, the star of the show. But you have Leimer, Konrad Leimer, which is an excellent player. You got Gvardiol, which is one of the best center backs in the world by many people. Mukiele, Dani Olmo. You got so much talent to grab. And for sure, this RB Leipzig team, this is what I love. You look in 5 years' time, you're going to see so many of these players in the top teams in the world, okay? Konate, Upamecano were like at RB Leipzig last season. And every person that watched Leipzig knew that those two would be absolute ballers wherever they go. So, and even Nagelsmann too. Nagelsmann, Wonderkid coach, goes to Bayern Munich afterwards. He was at Leipzig. And a player like Poulsen, man, just hits different with Leipzig. Okay. So
It's true. I mean, and we got to remember, they won this game in penalties after playing the majority of the game, or not quite the majority, but a lot of the game a man down, right? Marcel Halstenberg was sent off. I think it was last man. And it was Nkunku's not too late, but it was his equalizer that sent him in. And it was Nkunku that actually scored a penalty kick in their penalties to win it all. So, and we got to remember also how they started the year, Leipzig. Right?
True.
I mean, let's go full circle with Jesse Marsch, okay? Because he started the year with Leipzig and basically got pushed out of there, and it's Domenico Tedesco, and
it's working out.
It's working out well. Another young, up and coming manager with a clear identity, something he wants to build there, and I hope he gets the chance. I'm excited. I'm excited for Leipzig.
Just so I don't forget, on the Bundesliga shout, we got a team that won Europa League too of the Bundesliga. So huge mention to Frankfurt going extremely bold and winning the Europa League in style. Okay, Frankfurt with those fans, man. You gotta say, amazing fans. Okay, supporting the team wherever they go. And Frankfurt is another team that one or two players, man, underrated nonstop. And in the world of football, the world saw how good Kostic really is, okay?
Yes.
So big up to Kostic. Kevin Trapp too, great goalkeeper. And Knopf, man. Those are the three players that I know are going to be remembered in the world of football, okay? So big up on those. Love
that was the first European trophy in 42 years. And you do have to bring it up. There is something about Germany. There is something about some of the top clubs in Germany and their fan bases. They are absolutely unreal. And it's something that I know, here in the States, as we watch the club histories grow over time, I mean, it's something that I would aspire to just see take hold in the States. And it was a beautiful thing. You got to give kudos to Rangers as well, but that is the best thing that Eintracht Frankfurt did. They win. They win their first title in 42 years, and then guess what they do? They take out an advertisement in a Glasgow paper to pay their respects to Rangers and their fans. Now that's class, right? That's class.
They should put an article on Calvin Bassey too. Like, what a game by him.
Should.
What a game by him. I don't think he'll stay at Rangers after that game, okay? Even when he did a mistake, he got the tackle afterwards. So I was like pretty impressed with him. Pretty impressed. What a
Was
game.
he a City? Was he
I'm not
Manchester
sure.
City?
I am not sure about him, but I was surprised, man. Great player at Rangers, I gotta say. But yeah, we were mentioning Bundesliga, and there was a transfer that happened. You mentioned it fast, and yeah, for Real Madrid, this is a pretty bad season because in terms of transfers, because Real Madrid didn't manage to get Erling Haaland and didn't manage to get Kylian Mbappé. So this is great news. Great news to who? Eden Hazard, okay? Eden Hazard has got to go bold considering that these two players didn't go to Real Madrid. I just want to start by saying that. I'm not forgetting about you, Eden Hazard, okay? Go bold, my guy.
I'm going to forget about him. He's forgotten. He's not stepping up. Come on.
No, I believe in it.
No.
Come on. And the Hazard. More Hazard.
I know.
If it's peak Hazard, if peak Hazard manages to come, Brett.
I agree. I don't think Peak Hazard wants to come out. I think it's a conscious choice. I think Peak Hazard is
it's gone.
Is we got highlight tapes and YouTube's to watch. I just don't think it's coming back. But hey, let's start with this before we even talk about the terms with Kylian Mbappé, okay? Let's talk about this. Obviously, Real Madrid fans have been screaming his name, right? Since 2017, since he's been flirting with Real Madrid for years and years and years. And goodness, I mean, what an incredible turnaround and 180 that was completely unexpected to most of us. But let's just revisit what's going on with Real Madrid. They just won La Liga, okay? Vinicius Jr., he just had a breakout season for the ages, okay? Karim Benzema is literally like, a man on fire, all right? You even had like Rodrigo and some others starting to show, their mettle, right? Show that they can maybe take it up a notch. And they're going to be playing for a Champions League final. And yet this is a deflating, there's no way to cut it. This is a deflating development for Real Madrid fans. And they have a Champions League final to fight for and a La Liga title in their belts. It's so, what's the term? So bass-ackwards, right? It just feels so bizarre. Because does Real Madrid really need Kylian Mbappé to survive?
No,
they
don't.
They don't.
But
they want him, but they don't need him.
But they see what Barca's doing, and they're like, we kind of need something to come, maybe. And then we see Benzema putting in his story a Tupac photo that was his friend that backstabbed him and all that. So Benzema's even taking it personal, man. But I'll say this, man. Mbappe used Real Madrid. Used is the word as leverage for him to get the boldest contract in the history of football. When I saw this contract, I couldn't believe my eyes, man. 300 million signing bonus and 100 million a season after tax. After tax, okay? This is crazy money. Neymar cost 200 million, 220 million as a transfer. Mbappe is getting 300 just to sign the contract. Oh my days. And what's crazy for me is Kylian Mbappe, once he leaves PSG one day, which his contract, he's 23 right now. He signed it, he extended 3 years. So once he's 26, this man will leave PSG a billionaire. A billionaire, okay? That is the craziness of all this. And if people have doubts of what's the #1 sport in the world, man, you say that Kylian Mbappe is going to be a billionaire at 26, man. It's football, okay? It's football. And I don't know if Macron had a conversation with Mbappe, man, because there's some rumors that suggested the French president even spoke to Mbappe to stay at PSG, man. This is bollocks, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of tax. That's a lot of tax revenue. That's a lot of tax revenue leaving the country. But dude, it just comes down to the fact that Kylian Mbappe was playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers.
Exactly.
Okay, he knew what he was doing the whole time. He had us all fooled. I am just surprised, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we go and we look at things and we say, man, that really feels like it's all about the money.
Yeah.
This was all about the money, okay? I don't think there's any... I just don't think there's any other way to phrase this, okay? 300 million euros to sign on a dotted line is bonkers. Maybe it's a new normal, but it's going to change the transfer market for...
years.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's done. It's just
and
ridiculous.
For me too, like, it just shows Cristiano, man. Cristiano goes from United to Real Madrid, and the number one thing on Cristiano's mind is, I'm going to be the best player in the world, man. And I'm going to be the best ever in history. And I think if Mbappe had that mindset, I think he'd go to Real Madrid, man. And that's why people are having big doubts on why he stayed. But let's put the doubt there. And if Mbappe was, I think he was born in Paris, okay? And it is true, if he manages to bring the Champions League to PSG, it is crazy. And we all know if he does that, looked, he gets the Ballon d'Or with L'Équipe in Paris. We all know that, okay? So Mbappe, it makes sense. You get the Ballon d'Or, but come on, okay? I'd go to Real Madrid. And I think Mbappe's mom said that both deals were the same. So what was the difference? So, okay? But
well, that's true.
But I just wanted to say this too. I saw that Leonardo, okay, the sporting director of PSG, got sacked. And that's a good move. And that's a good move. Campos. So, yeah, they're going to get Luis Campos, which was the man who decided to get Mbappe from Clairefontaine to Monaco. He convinced him. So, I honestly think that's the right move to do, okay? And I see that Pochettino's going to leave. And the dream is Zidane, okay? So, if Luis Campos and Zidane are the change to next season, good on Mbappe, man, honestly. Good on Mbappe. But I've got some predictions on this.
Do you? I mean, I think if it comes down to it, it's not... Okay, maybe the dream is Zidane, right? Maybe the dream is Zizou, right, in PSG. Yeah. But it's whoever Kylian Mbappe wants.
But he wants Zidane. He wants Zidane.
He wants Zidane. I believe he also wants Campos and I don't know if it's true, but obviously it was reported that he also does seemingly have veto power on transfers out, transfers in. And there was even a little talk about him wanting Neymar gone.
Yep, I think he's gone. I think Neymar's gonna leave PSG, bro. This summer Neymar is gonna leave because it's not just Mbappe reportedly, it's Qatar too. The owners of PSG have had enough. And I'll say something too. I think that Mbappe really wants to bring Ousmane Dembele to PSG. I honestly think he really wants that. I think that's the duo that would make sense for PSG. I honestly would love to see that. Because Dembele would be happy, man. He'd finally be happy in Paris. Next to Mbappe.
Or injured.
Or injured. But I just think it's interesting. And look, for Messi too. Messi wouldn't say no to a player that was at Barca before. Maybe he would be like, why didn't you stay longer, Dembele, at Barca? But I think Dembele would be with open eyes.
Yeah, well, they're already they're getting rid of Di Maria, right? He's gone. I've heard Serie is the next Juventus potentially. Yeah. So yeah, I mean they're already doing things I guess that they have to do. But this comes down to it. How does a deal like this fit under a financial fair play type of a situation, right? Or even a salary cap situation in the future. So if there's any brainiacs in there, because I'm not going to spend the time on it, Alex, I don't think you'll spend the time on it unless you want to tell me otherwise. I would love to know how there's enough revenue out there to pay for this, or if this is just, hey, we've got the money, we're going to do it, and come after us if not, because it's for the good of football.
True, but I think La Liga is like suing PSG, like
to
UEFA, and it's like they're justifying by saying, like PSG had 600 million in losses, so how did they make an investment of 700 million with Kylian Mbappe? So I do, but to say that they are having the risk. They're being the risk of the Super League when Florentino Perez was like the man leading the way. I just feel like it's a bit hypocritical, honestly. But let's see what's gonna happen and the decision making with FIFA, with all of this. But Mbappe's gonna stay at PSG, so signings are gonna come. They're gonna go out, and the big question too is Tchouaméni.
Yeah.
I thought like the transfer of Tchouaméni to Real Madrid was a lot because Mbappe was going to go to Real Madrid. I feel like that was a hand-in-hand transfer. So I'm honestly very curious to see who's going to land Tchouaméni. Is it going to be Real, Liverpool, PSG? I don't know, but someone's going to get it.
I'm gonna throw AC Milan in that hat. But here's what it comes down to.
Great.
Kylian Mbappe in League One for the next however many years.
3.
it's kind of nauseating, right? He's got 28 goals, 17 assists this year.
Yep. He's never left.
He literally like single-handedly like relegated a club, right? FC Metz is pushed into a relegation playoff after he just went crazy on him. It does feel very Farmers League-ish. So it's just, there's going to be this difference of, I mean, here we are, we're talking about Tchouaméni, but Kylian Mbappe is just miles and miles and miles ahead as an economic whatever. This is exactly why we focus on Wonderkids, right? Why we focus on people under 20, so we don't have to talk about the money and the craziness that is happening in this transfer market that I can't even keep up with. But it is an insane deal. And I think it's only going to portend more insanity when it comes to people throwing money.
But I got to say this too. Like you said, Mbappe is going to be a player that's never left the French league. He's never left the French league. And he gets that feeling because he's won a World Cup. He's won a World Cup for France. So that's why all the high expectations are with Kylian Mbappe. So that's why we all expected him to have a brand new challenge. But let's wait and see until he's 26, people. So put down below, what did you think of the Mbappe situation? Should he have stayed? Should he have gone? Is it the money worth it? Tell us down below your thoughts, people, community. But something bold. You mentioned fast that you said AC Milan Tchouaméni, but AC Milan has only reasons to celebrate, don't they, Breton?
Only reasons, yep. What a win. What a win to end the season for them.
Scudetto, after 11 years, AC Milan finally gets it. And it's with a bold hat-trick in the first half by Rafael schon gestellt, meu. Machina, okay. What a player for AC Milan. The man. The man. Love it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure it's great to see. He's only 22. He's coming into his own. But he was absolutely massive for them this season. Absolutely massive for them too when it counted.
Yes,
right? When it really counted. I believe he's got like 2 goals, 6 assists in his last 6 matches, which we know how close that Scudetto race was between them and Inter, because Inter also, I mean, if AC Milan slipped up, Inter was going to clean it up, right? They had it done last match of the season. So the fact that Leao, like, he just blitzed them, and I just love, it's so poetic that everybody spends a lot of time talking about Romelu Lukaku not scoring, not doing this, not doing that. And here's Olivier Giroud winning the Scudetto with AC Milan after being cast aside at Chelsea. And he goes in, he gives AC Milan one of their first Scudettos in over a decade, and he scores, I think, 2 on the day, right? Scores 2 on the day. So kudos to Olivier Giroud. I think he's my new eternal Wonderkid. Step aside Jesse Lingard. Olivier Giroud knows how to score big goals.
Love it.
I love it.
Well,
I love it.
The hairstyle is always Wonderkid. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
It's true.
Yeah, but Giroud, man, that's a fact, man. What a job by him. And it's Giroud, it's Mike Maignan, it's Theo Hernandez, it's Tomori, Kalulu. I gotta shout Kalulu. What an amazing deal. Rafael, Benacer, Kessié was instrumental. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, another eternal Wonderkid. So the pieces that Maldini and Pioli put all made sense. And Tonali, I can't forget. Tonali, the Prince
dare
of
you.
Milan, the Prince, the King
Yeah.
maybe in future. So I love to see it. For me, I gotta see if Milan keeps Theo Hernandez and Rafael
Right.
Leao, okay? Because Real Madrid is gonna open big eyes to these two when they don't get Kylian Mbappe, because these two players would fit so well with Real Madrid. So big up on Milan, man. Unbelievable.
And that's kind of the question we got to pose. I got to pose it to people listening here, because do we feel like this is a one-off? I mean, think about the players we're talking about. Yes, Tomori was great.
Yes.
He was phenomenal this season, breakout season. But Tomori wasn't even really. He's not even considered for the English national team, right?
Which is ridiculous.
It's mad, right? Kalulu was a cast aside from Lyon, right? So do we think that this is, and Teo was already at Real Madrid, right? And couldn't hack it per se. So do we feel like this is a one-off, or do we feel like AC Milan, the Rossoneri, do we feel like they have the architecture, the foundation in place to really make a go at it year after year from here? Yeah, and I'm with you on that.
They do. I believe in it, because I see Tomori. I was shocked when I saw him speak Italian. I was like, this. He speaks Italian so fluently, like great. And it's you mentioned it. It's the core. They're players that I don't see wanting to leave next season. Only one or two I could see leaving, like Rafael Leao. But even if Theo leaves, it's with an enormous paycheck for Milan. So, and if they do have it, we all saw that they know how to do business, because they left Donnarumma go, or Dollaruma by many people. And Mike Maignan might be the best player in Serie A this season. And he was the goalkeeper replacement to Donnarumma. So I think even if some of these players leave, I believe in Maldini to make the dream keep on going for Milan. And I want to see Milan going bold in the Champions League, man. Finally, we're going to see. Finally, maybe going past the group stages, okay, Milan, and doing a proper challenge to the top teams in Europe.
It also seems like Maldini hasn't rested on his laurels just yet, because the word is he's already gone out and secured the most coveted super sub on the planet. Divock Origi. Yeah. So we'll see what I mean. I could see him scoring a couple 90-second minute headers or something for them next season. And a cult hero exits Anfield and enters Serie A, although it hasn't been formally announced yet. But you know what was formally announced? Yeah, it is. And here's the crazy thing, right? AC Milan could put it all together and they could have the foundation, right? But Inter Milan also has the foundation to compete every year, as they've shown. They also had their own narrative issues, their own personnel issues to begin the year. And there were a lot of people, including myself, that didn't think that they were going to be able to mount a challenge again with all the question marks that were whatever. Enter Nico Barella, enter Calhanoglu, enter a lot of these guys that have really made them just a phenomenal team.
I've been impressed with Joaquin Correa too. Like, he was a great buy too, Joaquin Correa inside the league. Like, that's what they do. They get like Gozens too inside the league. Like, they managed to snatch from others, and I think Dybala there's a good chance too of going to Inter. So yeah, I like what you're saying with and they have the best defense in the league too, next to Milan.
They do. They do. But Milan's, I mean, that last stretch, we talk about how Rafael Leao scored a few and assisted a few phenomenal, very important goals late in the season. That defense in that second half of the season for AC Milan was unreal. I mean, I think from a statistical standpoint, they obviously conceded less goals than some of the best AC Milan teams of yesteryear. I am not calling them Maldini. I am not calling them in any way, shape, or form, any of them. But they obviously put together a season for the ages, and we'll talk about them in the future, but they'll just kind of waft off, into the ether. We'll never see them again,
Mm-hmm.
or they will become, again, a fearsome competitor, year in year out with Inter Milan, and who knows? Maybe Juventus, maybe AS Roma can mount a challenge next season if they make the right additions. But yeah, the
Yes.
Dybala leaving,
Mm-hmm. Dybala
that was
leaving the
interesting.
last match at Juventus Stadium, him crying, man,
Mhm.
seeing how he reacted towards that. It just that my feeling was, why is he leaving, man? Why
I
is
know.
he leaving? He's in his prime, like he can do amazing matches still for Juve. So it's just so weird for me. But big questions
Yeah.
arouse. And Weston McKennie, is he gonna stay at Juve? Like, I have no idea. Is Chiesa going to come back the same player? Is Vlahovic going to start scoring goals? And is Allegri going to start making the decisions right for Juve? So, a lot
Right.
to happen for Juventus to win the Scudetto back. But I am hopeful with the management of the Milan teams, man. AC Milan and Inter Milan. I think they're going to put
Yeah.
a challenge to them. And Napoli, too. Napoli, too, on the top. And you mentioned fast Roma. Roma, I
Mhm.
hopefully Mourinho will stay at Roma. And Tammy Abraham, man. Tammy
Yeah,
Abraham
man.
naturally is going to have a ton of market after the season
Mhm.
he had. And Tammy Abraham became the Englishman with the most goals scored in Serie A history, okay, with 17 goals. And please, okay, Southgate, call him up for England with Tomori. With
Yeah.
Tomori. These two have to be called up for England. Just have to. So I
Well,
had to say that. I had to
well,
say that.
yeah, you absolutely do have to say that because they deserve it. And Tammy Abraham, I think it was 27 goals on the season total, right?
Sheesh.
All competitions, which I think is the
No
most
doubt.
since Aiden Dzeko's amazing year for them. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was 5 years ago, 5 seasons ago. He had maybe 30 something. But Tammy Abraham, yeah, I mean, he got it done when all was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to improve upon for AS Roma.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested to see if Mourinho is up to the task, if he even wants to be up to the task. But they've got a Conference League final coming up, so they could add something else to their, to their whatever,
I love how
to
you
get them
said
in.
wants to be up to the task. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
You saw the
but
rumors
they,
of Newcastle Mourinho, right?
I did,
If
and
that
then
happens.
yeah, some part of that feels right. Some other part of that makes you go, "There's no freaking way." But I have no way of knowing what Mourinho thinks now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mourinho 10, 15 years ago, like in his prime,
Oh yeah.
you felt like you could calculate his next move maybe a
Untouchable,
little bit
man.
better. Yeah, and
Untouchable.
and now like he could go take over Sunderland, for getting their
Ah!
promotion from League One to
Come
Championship
on,
for
he
all
ain't
I care.
broke keen, man. He ain't broke
I
keen.
honestly don't. Yeah, I know. But there's one other thing, and I don't know if there's a grain of truth to this, but I've been
Mm.
seeing it a lot. Do you brought up Weston McKennie and his
Mm-hmm.
potential exit, right? And I honestly could see that. I could see him coming
Mm-hmm.
to Premier League, and I believe it would
Mm.
be a great, great, great place for him. But one of the reasons why Weston McKennie, even though he is well liked by Allegri there,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I thought was because they might be extending offers and trying to bring back Paul Pogba. Is there truth to that?
Ah, yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Mm.
And I can totally see Paul Pogba. Come on,
Yeah.
what a career! What a not a weird career, but definitely a career that you think this ain't normal. So he's gonna leave Man United, Paul Pogba
Hmm.
twice as a free agent, okay, and to Juve maybe, and this is gonna be the crazy part. He's gonna always be at his best at
Yeah.
Juve. At
Yeah.
Juve. Okay, I don't know if it's the lifestyle in Turin because when it's cold, it really gets cold over there. So
Sure.
I don't know, but I think it's gonna work out. And they need stars, man. If Juve are gonna be great again, they need
Hmm.
Pogba to be great. They need De Ligt to stay and to be great. They need Chiesa to hit big
Absolutely.
numbers, and they surely need Vlahovic to hit big numbers too. So these are the players that I fully believe that they got to do something with it. And to the goalkeeper, I think they're gonna have to shake things up over there too, because
Yeah.
Donnarumma
Hmm.
went to PSG, and I just wanted to, because I don't want to forget about this. Donnarumma was appointed the best goalkeeper in the French league, and he only played 50% of the games. Lafont was robbed. Lafont was robbed of the award of the best goalkeeper in Ligue 1, okay? It didn't make no sense to me to see Donnarumma get that. And yeah, he should have gone to Juventus maybe.
But at least Alban Lafont got himself a trophy that Gianluigi Donnarumma does not have, right? And that's the Coupe de France. So good on Alban Lafont.
Good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
They really fight over that. No, just kidding. But man, yeah, Serie A and the Premier League and Serie A, two phenomenal races this season, and just a wonderful season when it comes from a footballing perspective. And it's set it up obviously for years and years to come. Although Man City is gonna start the season again, the absolute favorite in the Premier League. It's a flippin' toss up in Serie A, and that's what makes it so great, in my opinion.
And so, I'm starting to like shout out here some Wonderkids news too. I've got here another news that I wanted to really talk about, and like how stacked is France, Preston. Like they didn't call up Konate, they didn't call up Kamavinga, and they didn't call up Dembele to Deschamps. It didn't, and they called up Rabiot and Boubacar Kamara. That I gotta say, Boubacar Kamara is going to Aston Villa, okay, reported by Fabrizio Romano, until 2027. And I am absolutely shook. How does Arsenal sleep on another player that would make total sense to go to Arsenal? Just like Bruno Guimaraes to Newcastle. Why isn't it Boubacar Kamara going to Arsenal and going to Aston Villa instead?
I honestly don't know. I mean, this is a kid that can play. Yeah, he can play DM. His best position is DM, but he can also play center back. He was written in the script for Manchester United, frankly. I thought, I mean, they fell asleep here. Yeah. But Stevie Gerrard has shown that he can be very persuasive.
Oh my days.
And it's a wonderful signing. He's young. I don't think he's even close to hitting his prime. And what's really interesting to me is that he's leaving a Marseille that will play Champions League football next year, right?
Yep.
For an Aston Villa that will not. So something about the project must really intrigue him. Or he's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. I don't know.
It's the project. And they have like Douglas Luiz, man, which in my opinion, he's one of the best defensive midfielders out there. Douglas Luiz.
Underrated.
So Boubacar Kamara, you got a lot of colleagues to work with, like Buendia. They got a ton of talent there at Villa. I'm hopeful to see what they'll do.
They're gonna have to sell some people, because they spent a lot of their Grealish money, right? And they have a lot of these young guys that I really would love to see them kind of build around or use. Jacob Ramsey had a great season. Carney Chukwuemeka, who might leave. Ooh. You think he'll stay?
Jacob Ramsey, I think he'd stay.
Jacob Ramsey will stay. He'll stay.
The player that I immediately thought when you say leave was like Watkins. What if Arsenal go get Watkins? Because right now Arsenal need a striker. No Champions League football makes it hard not to get a Gabriel Jesus. So no, why not Ollie Watkins?
Yeah, well, I hear Wout Weghorst is looking for another job because he doesn't want to play in the English Championship. So, this is a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke. So, I've got, you're talking about a glut of talent, right? And France, that is going to be the biggest thing is like,
true.
I do not envy Deschamps. I do not envy him and having to pick a World Cup squad when it comes down to it. I am still of the firm belief you have to have youth in there. You have to have something that keeps people guessing. But let's talk about another team that is starting to turn a few wonder kids and bring them into their player pool. You might have seen this. It's really interesting. And for those of you that haven't heard, Ghana has gone bold, and they have convinced Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tariq Lamptey, and Eddie Nketiah potentially. I haven't seen confirmation on a couple of them to play and represent Ghana. Ghana has a ticket to the World Cup.
They're in our group. They're in our group, man. Portugal.
Right? Yeah, they are.
I'm kind of like, you're bringing in a lot of players, kind of, for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Even Inaki Williams and Nico Williams, I saw that they're both considering accepting. Which Nico, I think it's a great shout for him to go to Ghana. And yeah, Lamptey, oh my day, that right side, it's like they've solved it.
It's crazy. Now you've got Kudus, you've got Sulemano, you've got Felix from Rome, right? You've got Isahaku, who's going to be at Sporting next year, which will be a lot of fun to watch. And now you've got, Lamptey, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tariq, Eddie Nketiah.
Yep.
And then, the fact that...
Oh.
Who?
Thomas Partey.
Who's the other
leading the team. Oh.
Partey. And down the center, if you want a nice rock for the back for the next 10 years, Mohamed Salisu. So Ghana is going to be one I'll be watching. I'm going to love that. If it's true, if it happens, it'll be a lot of fun to watch. But while we're on switches, while we're on nationality switches, you did see we won a battle, right? The U.S. men's national team.
Gaga Slonina.
We got two. What? We got two. We got Gaga Slonina. He has made his choice. I honestly do believe that Gaga Slonina thought that this whole dual nationality craziness, the Polish national team coach coming in, presenting him a jersey, meeting him in Chicago, I feel like it has led to this poor kid, this 18-year-old, is he even 18 yet, to having bad form. He has not played well. And he's come out and he's literally said it. His last few games, he has actually cost them goals. And I think he just wanted to put it aside. He wanted to say, I'm U.S. men. I am an American at heart. Yeah, born and raised here. I want to get it out of the way, and I want to fight for my spot. And he has every ability. And then there were some weird transfer rumors that followed it, right? We all know the Chelsea rumor that broke down because of that. Now I'm seeing Wolverhampton. Wolves.
Oh, no. Keep my Manchester City. No.
Yeah, well, they might be looking towards the future. I don't like the move. I want him to stay at Chicago. For at least another couple seasons, because if Jose Sa is still there, he's not playing. He'll get spot minutes and he becomes another Zach Steffen and Matt Turner. But no, Gaga Slonina, he has committed, and then the other one that actually surprised the heck out of the DFB was Malik Tillman, who has played a few minutes, Bundesliga minutes for Bayern Munich. I believe he's 21 years old. He's a 10. I think. Actually, he might be a 9. I don't know. But he can play a lot of roles, and he was just called up. So we're going to see him in the Nations League. And he's been playing for the German U21s. So it's very surprising to me that Greg Berhalter once again went out and was able to win this talent. And we actually need help in that territory.
That was great, man. I remember you saying Matt Turner. And I believe Gaga Slonina will be going to the World Cup. Don't you believe in it, Bretson, too?
I do.
Yes.
As a three right now. I mean, based on his form, I just want the kid to develop. I want the kid to develop.
Put it with that number one, man. Trust the wonder kid.
I can't go Fabio Carvalho with him. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it right now.
Love it. But I'll be honest with you, Gaga Slonina has the potential of being a world class Tim Howard levels, right? So might as well play him. 2026 is coming, baby. So the U.S. gotta go bold. And go bold earlier, man. I love it. Slonina, right choice, man. You'll become a legend if you keep on going and keep on going bold, man. I love it. Yeah. And I know I mentioned at the start, Conor Gallagher and Broja getting a chance at Chelsea. I don't want to forget this name, and I feel like everybody listening to this podcast has to remember, and you've mentioned this name in the past, and I did some scouting on him, and it's true. Okay. He's going to play next season for Chelsea, and that is Levi Colville, okay? Levi Colville is the real deal, people, and he will play for Chelsea next season with Thomas Tuchel. Yes, he will. With Rudiger leaving, there will be an open space, and I see Levi Colville becoming a starter for Chelsea next season. I believe in the quality of this guy, and watch out for him, okay? Remember the name. At least in preseason, he'll have that chance. And I gotta say, too, Wonderkids, or young players, were all in show, okay, in the La Liga team of the season, because we have Vinicius Junior there, João Felix there, Pedri there, Ronald Araújo there, and Jules Koundé there. So youngsters are highly involved in La Liga, and I'm loving to see that. Loving it. So I really wanted to mention those two shouts.
It's you think Jules Koundé is going to stay in La Liga though?
No.
No.
Well, if he stays, it's to go to
Yeah.
Barca. But I believe Barca should go for Koulibaly. I said it in the past. I said that. I believe Koulibaly, Ronald Araújo, those two together is like, it's too much to handle. So, but Koundé would be an excellent player too, especially because he's very good with a ball passing capability. So I'd like to see him too. Reminds me a bit of Puyol, you know?
Yeah. Well, Koulibaly and Ronald, that's a lot of power. That is a lot of strength. I would not want to go up against that center back duo.
Bold duo, man. That's a bold duo.
It makes me shake just thinking about it.
Uruguayan too, Ronald Araújo, man. You don't mess with Uruguayans. You don't.
I'm excited to see what he can do in the World Cup. I'm excited to see what he can do in the World Cup because it is going to be new territory.
No.
Also another team you'll be playing, right?
I'm not excited for Uruguay in the World Cup. Especially when I'm gonna say again, Ugarte, man. Ugarte will be a player that will leave the World Cup, and he'll leave with his stock raised an awful lot. So, do you have any last shouts, Breton?
You know, I do want to say the U17 European Championships are going on right now, and there's a lot. It's group stages right now, but there are a couple players in there that I think are way too good for the tournament and should be playing up. One of them plays for France, and his name is Matisse Tell. He's another Stade Rennais product. He is a winger. They have a glut of wingers at Rennes. But he has played. Yeah, he's played for them. I think he's one of the youngest to play in the top 5 leagues this season. And he's one that I think you're going to see get a lot of time next season for Rennes. But him, and then I got to bring up 2 Bayer Leverkusen prospects, one of which I didn't even know was with Bayer Leverkusen. But that's Sweden's Jardel Kanga. Okay, he's 16 years old. He's got 3 goals. Sweden's not exactly, like tearing things apart, but he is scoring the goals that's necessary for them. Striker, also winger, I think. And then Iker Bravo. Iker Bravo for Spain has been electric, and it's not surprising that these 3 guys have produced some of the goals of the tournament so far. And here I am, because I'm going to step it over to you. I don't want to steal your thunder. I need to know more about this João Veloso. I need to know more.
Good midfielder. I haven't seen too much, but what I can say about him is he's a man that produces numbers with Benfica, and he's good. He's a good player. But about the Portuguese side, I know Rodrigo Ribeiro's a baller. He's a good striker. Dinis Rodrigues, I think he's also in that team. Great striker from Braga. And I'm going to shout Afonso Moreira, right? He's getting numbers too. So great winger at Sporting. I like him too. So, and Dario Sugo's there. And there's another player for Portugal is Leonardo. I think that's a fullback, Benfica fullback. He's the real deal too, people. So those are the players I would remember. That Dario Sugo for me, the real deal. And you mentioned Iker Bravo, and there's another player, Dani Rodrigues. Rodrigues, he's got a goal and 2 assists for Spain too. But if you're going to remember a player, you mentioned Iker Bravo. He's the star, okay? And I fully expect him to see in the Bundesliga next season, okay? That's how good this kid Iker Bravo is. So people, put down below in the comment section anything we've missed on the under-17 European. We've missed a lot, but we can talk more about the under-17 next podcast. If you want to see that, put down below in the comment section, people. And if you're listening to episode 57 until now, please visit fcwonderkid.com and go bold and get an order of these bold merch. That it's good quality and it helps us out a bunch. And please do not forget to like this video, especially if you're listening to this until now, and it's a huge help. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at FC Wonderkid Community. Thank you for going bold and listening to episode 57, community. Thank you for going bold, people.